How many snaps did they run in the 14 personnel?
That's only for us.
100% of the snaps.
What is going on, everybody, and welcome into 14P Fantasy. I am your host, Justin Wright. Today, I am joined by, for the second time this year, my good friend and college roommate, Matt Hovis. Hovis, what's going on?
Second time in a week. What's up, man? How are we?
Good. It's been like 2 weeks since the last mock draft.
Seems like it was yesterday.
No, so I'm pumped. We're doing a bunch of these throughout the offseason, guys. So if you're new to the channel, go ahead and subscribe. We've already done a 1 QB startup draft. We've done a superflex startup draft. And today we are doing our first ever tight end premium startup draft. So it's going to be interesting. It's going to be unique because Sleeper doesn't let you adjust the ADP for tight end premium. So it's going to be weird. But I mean, with tight end premium, Hovis, I don't play in any tight end premium leagues. Do you? I think we're in all the same leagues.
I never have, but I would be open to trying it out.
Right. It's weird because, I mean, it bumps up the Kyle Pittses, Kelsey, all those guys get way higher at this point. So it's going to be a whole mess of interesting with where Pitts and Kelsey and like those top tier guys go. Cause I think it helps them more than it helps those bottom tier guys like a Robert Tonyan or whoever else. Right.
100%. I think it'll be interesting to see where some of the guys go, like your Travis Kelce's who are 34 years old, where he gets that huge bump, but I mean,
32,
like
34.
Tony Gonzalez, and he's going to be playing until he's 40.
Something absolutely preposterous. Yeah, exactly.
It'll be interesting to see how this all shakes out and where people are falling.
No, for sure. All right. So before we get into it, guys, remember to check out the Patreon page, 14 Personnel over on Patreon. We have our tiered rookie rankings, tiered dynasty rankings, 240 plus players. You get early access to the rookie videos. We'll break down a dynasty team for you as well. So there's a whole bunch of stuff you can get from that Patreon page. So check that out. I'll drop the link in the middle of the draft here. But all right, let's get into it. Let me pull up our screen here. I just realized I got to switch banners. There we go. All right, Hovis. We are going tight end premium. Let's get into it.
Dynasty.
Yeah, if you're drafting redraft right now, you got a problem. So when you're looking at tight end premium, it shouldn't change your top picks, right? At least for you.
The top five are very untouched. I mean, obviously, I think Kyle Pitts is the clear-cut number one tight end in Dynasty right now. I'm probably not thinking about him until the 10 range, so you see me picking there at 8. I don't even know that I'm thinking him about there at 8. There's definitely 8 guys I like ahead of him that I don't know that extra half point does enough for me. So,
yeah, I hear you on that. To me, it's tough. It's close. I think I'd consider him, top 6 or 7 there, but I know I may be alone on that. But for me, I'm picking 2. I am grabbing my, RB2 in Dynasty. I know some people don't agree, but I am taking DeAndre Swift here. So for me, that's an easy one. But yeah, I mean, your running back 2 is Najee, isn't it?
Yeah, or maybe even running back 1. I have DeAndre Swift in my top 3, though. The whole points per game thing is crazy. I don't think that they could draft 5 receivers this draft, and he's still going to be their number 2 option in the receiving game next year, I would have to say. So just that receiving volume alone is going to be huge. And even if he only gets 10 carries a game, maybe 12 carries a game like he has been getting, who cares? If he's going to get me 7 to 8 catches, 7 to 8 points, he's going to put, at least 50 yards. That's 13. You throw a touchdown there. He's going to be in that weekly RB1 consistent conversation that he's going to be a consistent top 12 finisher from week to week. He's going to get you at least 6 weeks in the top 12.
Yeah, we got Baby Dragon back in the comments. What is going on? We do remember you. I think it was last draft or 2 drafts ago, picking up top. Glad to have you back here. We got MP. Is Deshaun Watson worth 3 picks in Superflex? I mean,
it depends what they are.
It depends what picks. This could be 3 third rounders. Yeah, of course. 3 second rounders. Yes. 3 first rounders is a whole different story because we still don't know if he's coming back. And that is terrifying, I think, for most people. I mean, taking that kind of risk and giving up, 3 first-round picks, I'm assuming that's what he's referring to,
Yeah.
probably seems too steep for me.
A little bit, yeah. I own him in a dynasty league, and I've gotten offers for him, and they aren't lucrative enough to make me want to believe. Let's face the truth here. He's 25 years old. He's played 4 seasons in the NFL, and he's been a top 5 quarterback 3 of the 4.
He's amazing. I mean,
take a year away from him, suspend him 1 more year, suspend him 2 years, and bring him back when he's 28. I'll take 10 years of Deshaun Watson.
Yeah, no, it's not even a question. Like if Deshaun Watson, if he comes back, he automatically jumps back into the top 5 conversation. Like it's a foregone conclusion. He's nowhere near the end of his career. He is not even in his prime. So he's only going to get better, and he is fantasy gold. So you just got to gauge the risk for yourself there. But all right, so there's a pick I think is interesting.
Do you want
Derrick Henry over Justin Jefferson. I'll let you make your pick here, but to me, if I am building a dynasty team, I'm not taking Derrick Henry over Justin Jefferson. I mean, he is absolutely phenomenal, but you probably got 2 years of Derrick Henry. You have probably 6 to 7 of Justin Jefferson at an elite level. I mean, that's not a pick I can make. Could you?
No, and I don't even have Justin Jefferson as my wide receiver 1 in Dynasty, if I'm being honest. So,
he's 1 or 2. It doesn't matter where you put him. I think him and Chase.
I mean, there's a couple guys. Point being there are multiple guys ahead of Derrick Henry that maybe if I had pick 112 and I could get him on that back half and maybe build a team to kind of go for it. But I'm staying away from Derrick Henry in every Dynasty league. Unless I'm going to just try to go for it and win it all out the first year. Give me Stafford, Cooper Kupp, Derrick Henry. Really just try to go and win next year and, then try to blow it up after. So unless that's the approach we'll take, and we'll see how he goes with it. But like I said, Jamar Chase is my wide receiver 1 in Dynasty. And again, that bump in Pitts didn't really sell me enough to even think about taking him over Jamar Chase.
The crazy thing with Pitts is the greatest rookie tight end season of all time. And just because he didn't get the touchdowns that he should have, I think he had 7 or 8 expected touchdowns. He came away with 1. If you give him just what he was expected, he is sitting up at tight end 3, no problem, on the season at 21 years old. So it's just what he is going to be. I'm already convinced he's going to be a bona fide superstar. And we know how big of an advantage Travis Kelce has been the last, half decade, at the tight end position. Being able to lock that guy in for 5, 6, 7 years, I think is worth picking up in the first. I think I'd take him over Davonte Adams just because of quarterback questions. You don't know if
premium league, yeah.
Right. I don't know where Adams is going to play come 2022. I don't know if Rodgers is even his quarterback. So that's the tiebreaker, Pitts over Adams. Are you the same way?
Yeah, and one other thing I'll add on Pitts too is because of that whole he didn't score touchdowns, there's doubts about the Falcons organization. If people are selling him low in your league, I'm scooping him up.
Dude, I don't think anybody is though. I've tried. I want people to sell low.
In a league and I've seen some low ball offers, so there must be some sort of idea out there that he's discounted now because I got offered, what was it, a 2nd-round pick and Dallas Goedert for Kyle Pitts.
Why do people do that? Nobody's taking that.
I get it because Goddard's the second option in his offense. I don't get it. Sorry, I lied. I don't get it. But I appreciated the effort. So
I don't.
With all that being said, I don't disagree with him being taken top 10, especially in a tight end premium league with all the stats you just fired off.
Right. There's so much going on there. And you get Javonte Williams off the board here as running back 7. And you look at some of the guys that are left. You got Dalvin Cook, Austin Eckler, Nick Chubb, Mixon, Gibson. Honestly, I'm probably going to take Javonte Williams over all of them outside of maybe Gibson. I have no issue taking him at tight end 7. Or running back 7. Jesus.
Quick change.
Yeah,
some of those names are a little tough. The uncertainty with Melvin and the Broncos organization of what they're going to do with him.
I think Melvin is gone. I would hope. Obviously, if Melvin comes back on another 1-year deal, you bump him down a few spots, but I'm still going to bank on the talent, I think. I wouldn't take him in the first if you know Melvin Gordon's back, just because this season and with, limited shelf life of running backs, it makes it really tough to buy into a guy where they're, immediately bringing in not great, but good competition still.
If we would have seen a full season out of Elijah Mitchell and with him not missing a bunch of time, and let's hypothesize that, he plays the way he did the 10 games we saw out of him, are you putting him up there with Javonte Williams? Because to me, they had pretty similar numbers, pretty similar seasons, and he has a clear
the only
back to be a number one.
The only reason I don't is draft capital. Like Shanahan could move on from a 6th round pick just by a snap of his fingers. And like that's just something that'll stick with me with running backs typically. I do love Elijah Mitchell. I think he's probably a top 15 dynasty running back. And that's saying something for a guy that was picked 6th round, was picked as the 2nd running back in his own draft. I think he has solidified himself as a top 15. That may be high to some, but a top 15 running back. But like he doesn't get the pass catching work that Javonte does. So that limits his upside. He'll be a great runner. He's going to score a crap ton of touchdowns in that 49ers offense. But that elite level ceiling, I don't think he'll have, as a guy that can finish, top 2, top 3, which I think Javonte Williams can if he gets a full workload.
Yeah, that's fair. And Javonte Williams has looked electric at times. So
dude, he's so good. I know. Can't bring him down. So while you make your pick here, we're looking, you get Tyreek Hill and then Mark Andrews as the 2nd tight end off the board, ahead of Travis Kelce, ahead of George Kittle, ahead of Darren Waller, followed up by CeeDee Lamb, who, if you're on Twitter, has been the talk of Twitter here. So it's some interesting names coming off, and then followed up by Eckler and Brown and Hovis. You son of a bitch.
I was going to say something, but I was running out of time, and I wanted
go. You got it.
I will preface this by saying if I didn't take Jamar Chase in the 1st round, I'm taking Dalvin Cook right there. Dalvin Cook shouldn't be available that late. I think he should be a little closer to like the 2-1, 2-2 range. And to me, it was crazy to see him there. But given that I have a 21-year-old player, I'm not going to take a 26-year-old running back. I went with Cam Akers. What we've seen out of him in the game, the one game he came back,
I love him.
One of the plays that got called back, he's an RB1 for that week. Like he still had a fine week, and he had like 4 plays called back due to terrible penalties. So
right, dude.
And then on top of that, he didn't even touch the ball that much. So
like
still had 14 touches.
I'm at the point where, we were texting about this as it happened. Every time he touches the ball, like he's slowly moving up my dynasty rankings. And is that logical? Not even a little bit. Is it stupid? Probably. But just seeing him, he has all of his burst back. He's still a great pass catcher. His vision, if you compare it to his rookie year, just in that one game, was probably better than anything he put on tape as a rookie. So it looks like he's gotten better just as a overall running back, which is what you wanted to see because he came in super raw. I mean, I think he deserves to go, maybe not ahead of Dalvin Cook, depends on the roster. But like you said, you can more than justify taking Cam Akers that high now that he is fully back from injury.
If I'm the guy who took Derrick Henry, I would definitely have been thinking about Dalvin Cook there. Like that team would make sense to me. A Derrick Henry, Dalvin Cook, let's go for the win. So the Cooper Kupp pick, that made sense too. I was like, hey, you go and win yourself a championship. You get Matthew Stafford and Cooper Kupp. I think he's listening to me. So
yeah. All right. I'm sitting here at the turn. I'm looking at wide receivers. There's really only one I think that's worth taking this high at this point. And then there's a crap ton of running backs. So if you're new to Dynasty and you're doing a new startup draft, always kind of deploy what we'll call tier drafting. So the drop off at wide receiver goes from DK Metcalf to Waddle, Godwin, and Hopkins. I think Metcalf is a clear tier above. While running backs, there's still probably 3 or 4 guys knowing I'm going to get one coming back on the turn here. So I will gladly take DK Metcalf. I know people are somewhat low on him, but I mean, he still belongs as a top 10 dynasty wide receiver in my mind.
Yeah, actually, in the last mock we did that I was on, he fell to 3.3 where I was drafting, and I was baffled. I jumped all over him. I was like, this is crazy. So I think that's
people are low on him. He had a weird season. He's had weird second halves of back-to-back years now. It just
some good, some bad.
Russell Wilson sucks in the second half. It's just is what it is. But
Second half of the season. I thought you meant second half of the game.
No, season. Sorry, my pick here. I mean, this is preposterous. He should not be here. I'm taking Saquon Barkley. I mean, I was between him and Nick Chubb, but Barkley's got a few years behind Chubb, so I'll stick with the age difference there as my tiebreaker. But like Saquon Barkley falling outside of the top, what are we looking at? 5, 6, 7, 8. He's RB12 right now. That feels criminally low. Like some of the running backs left it just feels weird to see him available in the middle of the third round in a startup draft.
I think the injury concerns are bigger than the talent concerns. I've never been.
Oh, it's 100% injury based. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, even just to think like with how much time he missed last season, it's like this year he's going to be healthy. And then just one thing nagged after another. I distinctively remember talking to you about this. I was like, I think that Devontae Booker is going to end up carrying a lot more value for a lot longer period of time than this initial 3-week IR stint that he went on when he first got hurt. And he sure as heck did. He was never good, but he ended up being somewhat relevant because Saquon just can't stay healthy for this good. And that blows my mind for how good of an athlete he is and just all the physical traits that he's been given and everything that you see on tape. It does blow my mind a little bit to see him being as hurt as he is, but maybe there's no correlation.
100%. If you guys are just joining us here, we are running through a tight end premium draft. As you can see, that is the main reason Kyle Pitts is going up in the first round. Mark Andrews at the turn of the second. It is interesting that Kelsey and Kittle are still available. I think that is, if Saquon Barkley and Chubb were not, well, there goes Travis Kelsey. If Saquon Barkley and Chubb were gone, I would have been looking to Kelsey or Kittle here. And the fact that they lasted to the third just shows people are starting to cool on Kelsey in dynasty leagues. And I imagine it's strictly an age thing. It can't be anything else.
No,
it's
funny how that works. You mentioned Kelsey and Kittle, and then they go back-to-back picks. George Kittle onto my.
I figured that's my bad.
But the age concerns definitely. More so with Travis Kelsey than Kittle. I mean, Kittle's here. Let's see.
Where are you thinking here? Good. This is good.
This is easy. I shouldn't be thinking. I love this guy.
I do too.
Give me all the injured guys who are coming back next year. It's a homer pick, yes, but we saw what that Ravens offense was without a true running back. And when there's not another threat other than just let Lamar try to throw somewhat inaccurate passes and runs. So giving J.K. Dobbins back, the dude can catch, the dude can run. I mean, he really is an RB1 in my opinion. I think he's going to finish as a top 12 running back the next 3 seasons as long as he stays healthy. So, and then also
I don't hate it.
Team. I don't have anybody over the age of 23 now, so
you're the youngest.
Yeah.
You're the youngest team possible. We got Tranny Punani in the comments here. Kittle was going no matter who said what. He's like, so it didn't matter. I mean, that's about as far as Kittle should ever fall, especially in a tight end premium draft. And as we continue to see some picks go off the board, we get Deontay Johnson, you get Josh Allen as the QB2. And honestly, Josh Allen has an argument to be the first QB1 off the board. But before we kind of talk about some of these picks coming up, Style Ninja in the comments saying J.K. Dobbins is going to kill it next year. I'm in 100% agreement. The only difficulty with ranking him as a top 12 running back for me is how many good running backs there are. You know what I mean? Like it's the top half is the top 15 running backs are interchangeable to some extent. Like there's some guys are just absolutely loaded at that back half of RB1s.
Do you know where Mark Ingram finished when he was the RB1 in Baltimore?
I believe it was running back 10, something like that. This was my whole argument coming into the season is he doesn't need a ton of volume.
We're talking about Mark Ingram. Like, come on. We're talking about 23-year-old J.K. Dobbins, who, for those of you who don't watched a ton of college football, was every bit as good as Zeke and maybe even a little better at times. He just didn't have as big of a workload as Zeke because he sat behind Zeke for a year. So,
Right. Like that was the only thing that stopped him.
And granted, we've seen what's happened to Zeke's career, but he's also 26 years old now. Look at what Zeke did the first 3 years he was in the league behind a good offensive line, which, again, when the Ravens have a healthy offensive line, it's a decent one. Yeah, I mean, that's a no-brainer pick for me. The fact that he was there blew my mind.
No, I'm completely with you. And guys, before we keep moving here, remember to check out the 14 Personnel Patreon page. We are dropping the link in the chat on YouTube. Go check that out for tiered rookie rankings, tiered dynasty rankings, early access to rookie videos, a whole bunch of other stuff being added there weekly. So go check that out. That link is in the comments there. And we do have a question from Carsoner, as we love him, Tranny Punani. Where do Burks and Wilson go for you guys in comparison to these other wide receivers right now?
Do you want to take that first? Or do you want me to take it?
Yeah,
first?
yeah. So it's tough. Actually, I'll leave this comment up here. It's tough because we don't know where they've landed yet, and that is obviously going to dictate some of where they fall. However, Burks and Wilson are interchangeable as the dynasty wide receiver one for me. Put either one there. I don't mind which. I'm probably taking them both. I'm taking them ahead of DeAndre Hopkins. To me, that is, I'm doing that all day long. They can probably go right where Deontay Johnson is. I think that feels correct. I don't want to take either of them over Waddle yet because of what we just saw Waddle do. But I think I wouldn't have any issue taking either ahead of Deontay Johnson. I mean, the way to think about it is in a rookie draft, would you trade the 102, 3, or 4 for Deontay Johnson? If the answer is no, then you probably prefer Burks or Wilson over Deontay. So ask yourself that question. That's kind of where it comes in at for me.
Yeah, and my take on it is this, to just be asking about Burks and Wilson, we should be talking about the whole class coming in. I've seen
Drake London deserves to be in that conversation. I know you don't agree.
Mel Kiper released a mock draft today. I don't know if you saw it or not, but
I did.
He had Drake London as his number 1 receiver as a top 10 pick. He did another one about a month ago, and it had Jameson Williams as a top 10 pick. He was going number 8 overall. So I don't think there is a clear-cut number 1 this year. I think there's a ton of talented wide receivers, like those top 5 or 6: London, Wilson, Burks,
Jameson Williams, Chris. You're a Chris Olave guy. I'm not that high at least, but I get
those guys will all 5 be first rounders. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah. No, I agree.
And anytime that you have somebody going in that first round, I mean, you even look at like a Henry Ruggs. He was like 107 that year, or 108, I think, behind like Judy and some of those guys. So, to your point, I think right around that Deontay Johnson range is probably correct if you're just going by the wide receivers. Maybe even Chris Godwin, honestly. Just with the uncertainty of knowing the quarterback situation and his free agency situation.
That's fair. So we got some commentary I want to bring up. Mitchell before Montgomery is nuts, and even ETN and CEH. For me, I'm still taking Mitchell. I'll probably take Montgomery over Mitchell, but I want Mitchell over ETN and especially CEH. CEH, I am done with personally. I just don't think he's that talented. It's just, I just don't, that's really what it is. I think Mitchell is a whole lot more talented and he is guaranteed work, where I don't know if CEH is anymore.
After seeing what Jerick McKinnon is doing at 30 years old, coming off the practice squad in that offense, and
CEH can't do it.
Yeah, you've given him goal line work, you've given him passing work, and I don't know, maybe send him up to Cincinnati and let him play for LSU, but outside of that, his days might be honestly done. Yeah, LSU is up in Cincy. We got Thaddeus Moss too now. So the ETN line is probably right where I would draw it, like right after ETN or before ETN.
Yep.
ETN, I think, has that, like, he's 100% unknown still, and that's right where he went as a rookie, and that's kind of right where Jamar Chase went to. So to me, that's probably right about where Elijah Mitchell should go, just for everything you and I talked about earlier in terms of the Elijah Mitchell situation.
Right, absolutely. And when you're looking at some of the guys, or we got some other comments here saying, Carson's going, I'm going to say it, Burks over DK. I can't I can't get behind that. I think Burks will be good.
I don't think
but I need him to prove it.
DK. He's got the size, but I don't think he's going to run as fast.
No, I don't think so. Okay, so I'm looking here. Zeke is still on the board, first of all, in the 5th round, and I don't even care. Like, I don't want to take Zeke here. It's not even crossing my mind. He is off my board in Dynasty, especially in a startup. I don't love drafting guys that I know are already on the decline in value. I think that's just a bad way to go about building your team half the time, especially this early in a draft. So I'm looking here, and this one is, this is weird. There's a lot of guys I love and hate at the same time. All right, I'm doing it. I'm going to pull the trigger on Calvin Ridley. I still think he's coming back. I mean, rumors don't go out there about him wanting out of Atlanta if he's not coming back. You know what I mean? Like, if he was done in the NFL, I think we would have a better idea. So he will be moved on. He'll be moving on to a new team, I believe. And even if he doesn't, I think he's coming back.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think that is kind of like the Kyle Pitts discount that I was talking about earlier, where it's like, if Pitts is discounted for any kind of Falcons concerns, like, go out and buy him. Same thing to a lesser extent with Ridley. He's obviously a lot older, but same thing there. Like, go out and get Ridley if he's at a reasonable price, because he is one of those guys who will come back.
Yep. So we got some comments here, Hovis. I know you need to pour a new drink. Yeah, Hovis is pouring a new drink. So we will drop some comments in here as well. If you're not on our YouTube, go check it out. There is the Mitchell-Montgomery debate going on. Both of them averaged 15 a game in 2021. It's not nuts. I'm assuming talking in reference to Mitchell going ahead of Montgomery. And I agree. I mean, he deserves to be in that conversation. I am a Montgomery guy as a Bears fan. I'm also a huge Elijah Mitchell guy. So I think Benjamin broke that down pretty well. You got Style Ninja just basically flat out saying Zeke's a bust. It's tough to call him a bust after like 4 or 5 top 10 seasons.
So good.
Right. I assume he's talking just from this point on at ADP. And I tend to agree with that. You know, this year he was a top, 6 running back, but he was RB 17 in points per game. He was basically a top 10 running back because he was available, I think is really what this comes down to. So it's interesting. I think the tide is fully turned on Zeke. I mean, we just did a running back to sell video. Zeke is the headline there. And I just want him off my team. Him, Aaron Jones are 2 guys I just want no part of. I'm trying to sell them wherever I can if I roster them. Are you the same way, Hovis?
Yeah, and it's been frustrating because in one of the Dynasty leagues I'm in, I have like Zeke, Austin Eckler, Devontae Adams, Travis Kelce. And I won the league, which was awesome. But I'm at this point where it's like, do you want to blow it up? You can't get back what you think you deserve to get back out of any of those guys. Like, I'll give you a 2nd rounder for Zeke. You're like, no.
Like it's never going to be worth it.
Rounder. But then no one's going to give you like a 106 for him. Like, you can't get that for Zeke right now. So he's one of those guys where I don't even know how to really describe the value. He's just kind of
You're stuck. You're stuck with him. You have to eat cost. It's him, Aaron Jones, guys like Amari Cooper, Mike Evans. You will never get back what their value actually is. You just have to eat costs because they're not exciting. People are kind of done with them. I mean, so am I. So I'm saying people, including myself, but it's just people are off. They're done with it. So good luck trying to move them for what you should get for them. You're probably not going to be able to, and you either sell them now at a discount or hold on for a year and sell them at a bigger discount next season, I guess. I don't know. Also, I love your pick, by the way. I love the Pittman pick.
Thanks. One thing I will add to that before, because I did have a question for you too, but one thing I'll add is if you do have one of those older teams who you're trying to push for it and you can get Zeke as your 3rd running back, I think he's going to finish as a top 24 running back the next year. Like, yeah, because of touchdowns and touches. Even if Pollard gets a bigger workload next year like he did this year and he keeps increasing his touchdowns, Zeke is still going to be there. He's still going to get touches. He's still going to get some red zone work. So he's not a guy that you want to completely fade. On the right team, it makes sense at the right time. But to see him fall out of the top 5 rounds doesn't shock me. If he falls out of this next round, I'll be a little shocked. Just looking at some of these teams.
I'm sorry. AJ Dillon should not go ahead of Zeke.
I
just noticed that.
He's right around Michael Carter for me too, after what we've seen out of Michael Carter too. So
we're in the 6th round and Zeke's still on the board. People hate him with a burning passion. And I mean, I'm partially to blame for that. I don't tweet nice things about Zeke ever. And this is people that follow us on Twitter. And but dude, that's crazy.
Right on Mooney in the 5th. What?
That seems about right, though. I mean, look at the wide receivers that are available. You're looking at Michael Thomas,
Brandon Ayuk. I mean, I guess
Ayuk, Robinson, Claypool, Hollywood Brown, Lockett, Sutton. Mooney belongs in that conversation, I think. You know, I mean, it's deceiving seeing him that high, but I think it's warranted at this point. Even if and when, I assume, the Bears bring in another wide receiver this offseason.
I'm not taking Darnell Mooney over Zeke.
Neither am I. No, I'm just saying in terms of wide receivers, like this is his tier of wide receiver. I'd probably take Ayuk over him, but again, they went back to back, so same deal. Just happened to be who he took first.
Pick them different next time, Curtis.
Yeah, switch those up. No, it's
damn it. Corey, listening.
Corey sniped him with the Joe Burrow pick. So Joe Burrow off the board as QB6 ahead of Dak Prescott, Jalen Hurts, Aaron Rodgers. Yeah, that's where he belongs.
Ahead of Lamar.
I don't agree with that. I will take Lamar over him for the rushing. Rushing quarterbacks are just a cheat code. So I'll always lean rushing over like a true pocket passer, but I think both are they're in the same tier of quarterback for me.
There goes Zeke. While I make this pick, are you surprised by how few tight ends have gone? I kind of was. I was a little shocked when I took Hawkinson in the 4th, given how young he was.
I'm not, though, because, I mean, those second 4 are kind of bunched together. I thought Kelsey and Kittle would be higher. But Hawkinson and Waller, I don't mind them in the 4th round. I mean, in like a regular dynasty startup, Waller's probably a 4th and Hawk's probably a 6th round pick. But when you get to premium, those guys deserve a bump. So I think it makes sense there. But like after them, it's a weird tier of like Dallas Goedert and Dalton Schultz and Dawson Knox, right? Like it's a tier break, I think, after Hawkinson. Although, you know, Goddard maybe probably has an argument to be in that same tier. Where are you looking here? What are you thinking?
I don't know. The running backs are weird. The wide receivers are weird. I'll go with the worst teammate in the locker room. I'm not the biggest fan of this guy, but he's been so good sometimes. And knowing that he's going to be in Pittsburgh with Deontay next year with a new quarterback, I'll take a chance on him and see what happens. We're not quite have taken dart throws yet, but just his physical traits. I mean, he's not quite DK Metcalf, but he's taller. He's almost as fast. Like
the thing with Claypool, and I think we'll be looking back at this a year later and saying people were too low on him because there was not a quarterback worse suited for his skill set than Ben Roethlisberger. Like as a guy that can burn down the field and just moss the crap out of dudes that, like down the field, it is Big Ben is not the guy to take advantage of that. So hopefully they bring in like a Kenny Pickett or a Malik Willis or someone like that, and you know that'll be a huge bump to at least his upside.
I think part of my frustration with him is you have this behemoth of a person and you're trying to use him as a gadget guy. And
I think they had to because of Ben, though. I think that's a product of
that's what I'm saying. And so now you bring in a quarterback like you're talking about, and that's why you're willing to take the risk on him is because stop using him as a gadget guy who's 6'4" and trying to like run reverses, and it's not what he was built to do. Maybe
right,
but that's not the kind of or at least the way I see him playing, and some of the catches he's made on sidelines and stuff. So.
Spectacular, yeah. And we got a comment here from Benjamin. It's kind of a crap show after who's been taken at tight end already. I think aside from Dallas Goedert, I agree. And then, it's that next tier of guy that they have upside. They're definitely interesting, but I don't think you can say I'm penciling in Dawson Knox to have another top 5 tight end season with, just the fluctuation in touchdown rate and, available targets in that Buffalo offense. Gabriel Davis maybe expanding his role. I don't think he's a lock. Dalton Schultz, not a lock. Noah Fant, I don't care for. Mike Gesicki, he's a free agent. So, yeah, it's a crapshoot. I think Goddard's the last tight end you look at and say, yep, like I trust what he's going to do.
Yeah, I would agree with that, especially just watching the way that, him and Devontae Smith are the only two getting targets in that offense. And
Yeah.
I truly believe with one of their first, they probably are going to bring another receiver in. Maybe not in the first, but
I hope they do. 3 straight years.
Was Rager first?
Yeah, Rager was a first ahead of Justin Jefferson. And then you got Devontae Smith, and I think Devontae Smith is a great pick, to be honest. I still think he's going to be fantastic. And we have a chat. There's a message in our sleeper chat saying the Mooney slander must end, Hovis, and I agree with that. Put some respect on Darnell Mooney's name, please.
I'm a huge Fields fan. For anybody who's watching,
For what it's worth, yeah.
Can't tell, big Buckeyes guy. Love Justin Fields. I don't know why this is, because he wasn't like this at Ohio State, but he couldn't throw to anybody not named Darnell Mooney.
It's because the other options were Demir Bird and Marquise
even Allen
Goodwin.
Robinson, he couldn't even get close to him.
I talked to Dallas Goedert too much. Shit. Okay.
Even Allen Robinson, he gets open, and Justin Fields just couldn't hit him. I know they had offensive line concerns. I get all of that, but
yeah, it was bad.
I'm just interested to see, I guess. I'm assuming the Bears are bringing in another offensive weapon next year, whether it's through the draft, they're cutting Allen Robinson, they're signing somebody in free agency. Some way, somehow, they're going to get a second pass catcher. And when Fields learns how to hit somebody else other than Darnell Mooney, I think we'll truly see how good he is. So I'm not out on him. When the name popped up in the 5th round, I was like, whoa. But then once I started looking at who was left, he's probably right around Claypool.
No, you always basically got bullied by the live chat to stop being mean to Darnell Mooney. Good.
Cool,
that's what it should be. And we got Ro here saying, with all the heat in the community on Twitter, Amon-Ra still being available is shocking. And I agree. And there he goes. I had considered him and Dak there. So it makes a lot of sense I think that's where he belongs.
If I didn't know Hawkinson, I wasn't taking Claypool. I was taking Amon-Ra at 6'5".
Yeah. No, I think he could go anywhere in the 6th round there. He you know what I mean? Cordero Patterson going ahead of him is a pick that happened. It's interesting. What else do we have here? It's my pick. Shit. Okay, give me a second.
Cordero Patterson going in.
I don't understand that.
I don't even know where to value him really.
Don't.
If Matt Ryan's going to be there next year, I guess we'll have value, and that's probably where it ends for me.
Yeah, and this is a pick. I'm making a pick here, and if you know me, this is disgusting. I'm going to take Leonard Fournette here just as an RB3. He's not over the hill in terms of age. I think he's back with Tampa next year. So as an RB3, I'm thrilled. I'm thrilled to have him. It's weird and it's gross and I hate him. But looking at the other running backs there, there's no one else I like more than Fournette, I should say.
Yeah, the running back situation is pretty gross.
It's bleak.
Yeah, even the Miles. When I saw Miles Sanders sitting there, I was like, oof. But yeah, back to the Amon-Ra thing. He could easily be ahead of. Honestly, if he took him over Mooney, I wouldn't be alarmed.
I would not. I would not do it.
I wonder why.
I agree. I agree with Eric's
Bears fan.
I am 100%. No, I agree with Eric here. And it's the concern over another big name coming in. All of his production came without Swift, most of it without Hawkinson. So there are concerns. Now, let me be clear. I'm not trading him cheap in Dynasty. You saw him break out. Do not sell him cheap. That's not the move. Even if you're concerned, I'm going to hold him and see what I got unless I get some obscene offer. I'm getting, a high first round pick this year. I'm going to hold St. Brown most likely.
I'm probably not offering one of the top 7 picks for him, though.
Oh, I'm not. But I'm saying if somebody does, I'm taking it in a heartbeat.
There's 2 running backs and 5 receivers without a thought that are over him. And that's not even
3 running backs. 3.
Yeah.
Spiller, Walker, Hall. I don't know which one you don't like, but it's those 3.
Yeah. Spiller is
that's the one.
on the verge for me. But I guess if you're thinking the value of having a running back, probably. I think Spiller, I have my thoughts about him, but
I know you're not a huge Isaiah Spiller guy. Marco's obsessed with him. Hall is my RB1. Spiller's my 3. I think same as you.
Yeah, Hall then Walker, Hall and Walker are probably closer for me than they are for you.
That's fair.
So
real quick, Carson, I know he's a Lions fan. Where is Fields going to land after he's used as a trade piece by the new GM? Shut the hell up. Just shut the hell up. We're not doing this conversation. And hell yeah, Rose hyping me up here. He's gassing me. Fournette there in the 7th. Again, as a guy I don't love, but value, I'll take him. He doesn't really fit my roster in terms of, I think, immediate value, but we'll see how this team would shake out at the end of this draft here. So Rashad Bateman goes 7-3. He goes. Are you surprised by St. Brown over Bateman? I am a little bit.
Just like knowing that St. Brown has a more clear route to being a number 1 receiver in an offense than Bateman does. You're always going to have Hollywood. You're always going to have Mark Andrews.
No, I think Hollywood's gone after next year. I don't think they pick
up.
I
guess thinking this year. And just
2022.
For as bad as Goff is, he still kept relevant receivers in the offense.
That's fair.
It doesn't shock me. I mean, he was electric at USC. Bateman was good. Tyler Johnson was good too, though, and he's been blessed since he's been in the NFL. So you could probably flip a coin on those 2 guys, honestly, and it's not like, oh my God, you took him before him. That's slander or something. Like, no, they're both right there for me.
Yeah, no, that's fair. And I'm looking back at some picks here because I've paid attention, but I haven't seen every pick that's come off. Damian Harris went ahead of Zeke. That's insane. I mean, I am not a huge like Damian Harris or Zeke fan, but Zeke should be going ahead of Damian Harris right now. I don't think Damian Harris re-signs in New England after this season with Stevenson coming up the ranks. So I think he's probably out of value before Zeke is. Are you the same or no? You're making a pick. I just realized that.
I didn't have a lot of time, and that hurt.
It's an interesting pick.
Yeah, we can talk about it. What was your question?
I'm saying Damian Harris over Zeke. I could not ever make that pick.
Yeah, I mean, Damian Harris, at the end of the day, is not that young, and he's never like wow.
24, right? 24, something like that.
I think he turns 25 in the offseason. So
yeah, he'll turn 25, and he'll be a free agent in 2023.
And I don't think he's not like a physically gifted running back. He's smaller. He's not bad, but he wasn't like any of the good Alabama running backs.
He's a good rusher. He's a great rusher, and the offense suits him. I think he'll have a ton of value in 2022, but I don't know how much beyond that.
Yeah, he wasn't like some of the – I guess my whole thing is he wasn't like some of these other guys we've seen come out of Alabama where they were a 3-year player, even a 2-year player. I mean, he played a senior year. He kind of reminds me a little of Brian Robinson in the regards that he was kind of good at the end of his career, got kind of good, and kind of made a name for himself in the NFL. He looked good in the national championship, and that was it. That was what Damian Harris was. So I was never a big fan of him. Then all the injury, like he was very hurt his first 2 years. He had a good year this year, but it's like, hey, I scored 3 touchdowns here, and then I didn't do anything, and then 3 touchdowns there. And then
yeah, I mean, he was LeGarrette Blount.
Consistent production, I would definitely be in on him. But
he was LeGarrette Blount light, just a touchdown machine, and that was where his value came from. And we got going back to our Ravens conversation and Bateman. Benjamin saying Andrew gets so many targets. Ravens wide receivers scare me earlier than this. Yeah, I think it's similar to Swift and Hawkinson, So I don't think there's too much of a difference, honestly, in between the offense and who's taking targets away. I think Bateman's a better player than St. Brown is personally. And I prefer those bigger profile guys to the smaller dudes. But, that may just be me. And we got a little bit of hype for your pick here. Singletary could be the guy in Buffalo that could pay off big time.
I was just looking. I didn't realize he's only 24. I thought when he came out, he was already 23 or like 20. I thought he was older when he came out from his time at UCF. And then when I saw he was only 24.
The thing is,
it's kind of like that. Sorry, go. Do you want to go?
The thing with him is he's a free agent this year after 2023. Or no, this offseason, excuse me. He's a free agent right now. So it's going to be interesting to see if he comes back to Buffalo. I think that's the biggest. If he comes back to Buffalo, he's going to be a monster.
Well, I guess I made that pick uneducated then. I assumed that he would at least play there next year. I thought he had one more year. So my thinking on it was kind of the same as Cam Akers, where it's like every time he plays, he climbs a little higher for me. And then you watch him play again, and he climbs a little higher for me. And like looking at some of the running backs left, I was like, I need to get a third running back. I was assuming he was going to be in Buffalo next year. So if he is in Buffalo, that's right around where I would take him. Absolutely.
Yep. And we got Rose saying Moss is not going to take the lead back, and he could get a second contract. Absolutely. And that is the appeal of Devin Singletary right now. The thing in Dynasty is you can't really trade for him because his value is going, it's continually increasing, like Hovis is saying, because he's performed well when given that workhorse role. So now to trade for him in the offseason before free agency, you probably got to pay a premium to do it. And you don't even know if he's back in Buffalo. So I'm not like if in regular leagues where you've already drafted, I am not making any moves for Devin Singletary at his price because it could blow up in your face so damn quickly.
Are you taking him ahead of Ramondre Stevenson or after? Because I was those are the two I was debating.
After. I'm taking him after because I know where Stevenson's playing this year.
Okay.
Like I know he's going to get work in a Bill Belichick offense. Singletary could, if he was a backup next year, I wouldn't be shocked. I could see him signing in Atlanta or Miami, a team that needs another running back, right? And none of that would surprise me. And I think that would lower his value, landing in either of those spots.
Totally fair. And again, I guess I made that pick just very uneducated, not realizing he's a free agent.
Dude, so. It shocked me. I was looking this up like 2 weeks ago, and I was like, holy shit, Devin Singletary is a free agent. I was like, that it doesn't feel like he's been in the league 4 years.
Not even at all.
Rob's saying it's a 2023 deal. I could have swore Spot Track had it at 2021. If that's the case, then Hovis, you nailed it, and I'm an idiot, and I've just been ranting like a moron for
I still
5
wouldn't
minutes.
take today before this weekend. I still wouldn't take him. I would take him ahead of Chase Edmonds, probably Kareem, maybe Leonard. So I wouldn't have taken him that much earlier, but
That's fair.
Definitely ahead of Stevenson.
Yeah, no, totally fine. And I think Spot Track may have had it wrong then, or I can't read. Because I think Rob may be correct here, 2023. So I got to look into that. If I'm wrong, oops, my bad. That could be not ideal. I am with Carson here. I think there is a chance Buffalo drafts a true one this year, and you get very similar to Cam Akers a couple of years ago, or J.K. Dobbins 2 years ago, or Swift, where Singletary probably starts the year as the starter. If I got the contracts wrong, again, I very well could have. If I have contracts wrong and they draft somebody, I think Singletary will probably start the year as the quote-unquote workhorse and continue to seed work throughout the season if they bring somebody in.
Yeah, and the guy who put the comment in there about Zach Moss not coming back, that was never my concern at all.
No, never. Zach Moss is trash.
Yeah, 8 carries for 20 yards and a touchdown. I think he had that stat line like 9 times.
It's the Zach Moss stat line. It's so pathetic. What else do we have here? Not that many to choose from. I presume running backs. And then Gallup ahead of Juju. That does surprise me. Juju's back and healthy. Gallup with a torn ACL. I want Juju way, way over Gallup.
Mm-hmm.
It's
not close probably either. Even if Gallup does come back to Dallas for less money, he's a
You're
between
buried.
the fourth option in the passing. I mean, he's right there with Dalton Schultz. They're probably flipping a coin on who gets the target. So
Right. Like it's not like all of a sudden it's oh, he's back in Dallas and it's a smash spot. No, like if he comes back to Dallas, that's terrible for his value.
yeah, they're gonna
Doesn't help him in any way. So
yeah.
you scooped up a second tight end.
Yeah. I wanted to give you something to talk about.
You gonna talk about it?
Yeah. I've never played in tight end premium league, but I was just thinking, like, he's another young guy with a ton of athleticism and a quarterback situation that is unstable. It could change. They could get Deshaun Watson.
He's a free agent also, by the way. I think he lands in LA, first of all, which would be unbelievable.
And also the Chargers and the Rams, because that does kind of matter.
The Chargers. I think he lands with the Chargers and Herbert.
Yeah.
Which would be unbelievable.
But either way, I've kind of always been in on him, and I've always thought there was something else out there. He is still young, and tight end careers last a lot longer. So
yeah,
just knowing that they're going to get that extra uptick, he's one of those guys who, like, even if he did walk and sign somewhere else, I might even be a little more interested just because, like, I've not been overly impressed by Tua. So having a second tight end, I also think if you have two good ones, you can trade them for more, especially in a league like this. It's like playing in a super flex league or even a 2-quarterback league. Like if you have like a Burrow and a Lamar or Mahomes and Kyler or something, like you're going to get a ton of value back for them or be able to trade them for draft picks or something like that. So he's shown glimpses of being able to break out, and I just wanted to make it interesting for everybody else to have to pick a tight end. So
I was able to snag Knox there, which I'm happy.
Comfortable starting him in the flex. Like if there's 2 flexes to start and you're getting a tight end premium, I'm probably comfortable starting him in the flex depending on the matchup.
Yeah, that's not unheard of. So I don't hate to pick it all
over Michael Gallup and Juju.
No, absolutely. So, all right, real quick, I'm switching the view here so we can see the bottom of these picks. But so as you're looking at it, I snagged Knox. Freiermuth goes next. I think that's the end of the tight ends I am legitimately excited about as far as dynasty options go. Maybe Cole Kmet can sneak into that conversation too. But I followed it up with Robert Woods, and Robert Woods going late. He is still a huge part of that Rams offense. And I fully expect him to come back and assume a big chunk of that, or, huge role in that offense in 2022. He is a guy that if he's available and you're going to be a contending team, I'm still very okay with trading for Robert Woods.
I do think it's interesting the OBJ comment who came out and said that Van Jefferson is more talented than him. Or did you hear all that?
Van Jefferson is a nice player. I think he is he's good at what he's there for. He's a great deep threat.
I think it'll be interesting to see when Woods comes back. Is OBJ back there next year?
Not a guarantee. We don't know. I would expect him to be, but I'm still very in on Robert Woods. I just think he's
a guy who kind of reminds me a little of Jackson Smith and Jigbo, where it's like, oh, this guy's better than us.
Don't do this crap.
The older brother is oh, this little guy is better than us. So the Woods pick, with him being there that late, I do think I think it depends on the team though.
I prefer him over OBJ in Dynasty still. OBJ has been very good with the Rams. Target share is down, air yards are down. He's been a touchdown machine, that's fine. But I'm still happy to flip OBJ. Right now, if somebody's willing to pay up for him. And I stole Style Ninja's Dawson Knox pick. Great feeling. And before we kind of get into this last round, guys, again, remember to check out the Patreon page. I'm going to drop the link in the chat here. You get tiered rookie rankings, tiered dynasty rankings, up over 240 players, early access to rookie videos. And on top of it, if you guys pay up to that top tier, Marco and I will send you a dynasty, video breakdown of whatever dynasty team you want, 10, 15 minutes breaking down trades, how to position yourself moving forward, that kind of stuff. So check that out with the link in the YouTube chat here. All right, Hovis, who we want? Russell Wilson here.
Why did Deshaun Watson go before Russell Wilson?
Upside, purely upside. That is it, but it's insane.
No.
No, just no.
Are you taking Deshaun Watson ahead of Russell Wilson?
No, I'm not.
Okay.
I am not, but I can see why somebody would.
Oh, wait, no, he already is, bro. Never mind. Sorry. Go on.
I can see why somebody would, to be perfectly honest. Like, I don't blame them. Like, you're looking at that team, Hurts and Deshaun Watson. If you're pairing him with Hurts, I think that makes more sense. Because Jalen Hurts, again, he's going to have a job in 2022. I don't know if he does beyond that still. I mean, his playoff debut was so bad. It was so bad.
Do you think Russell Wilson's in Seattle next week? Or next year?
Next week, probably. Next year, no.
Okay, so you think he's moving this offseason?
I think just him and Pete Carroll have finally just kind of fully diverged from each other. Like, before they were in lockstep, and now it seems like Russ hates his ass and is just sick and tired of being forced to run the ball with a Chris Carson or a Rashad Penny, and like they don't give him the reins to the offense. And I think he's kind of tired of
his value.
What's that?
Does that help or hurt his value?
Depends where he goes. I mean, I think it'll help, though. Getting in a more pass-friendly offense, I presume, is the hope for him. So if he lands somewhere else where he actually has the ability to sling the ball and he's not limited to 450 pass attempts or whatever, I think that should help his value in Dynasty.
Yeah. My thought on him was I told you I wasn't going to pick the same players from last video, and I ended up picking him again. I'm so sorry for anybody who watched last time, but I'm going to make the same comment. But a few bad games from him has literally kicked him out of the top 15 conversation, and it doesn't make any sense to me. The dude is 32 years old. He's going to come back. He's in a slump. I don't disagree, but he can't be any worse. Like, it's not possible. Like, so, and
right.
MVP, he's been a top whatever for so long. Oh, I got to pick. Sorry.
Oh, shit. There's nothing worse when you get on a rant. We got Roe here. No respect for B. Cooks and Renfro. Yeah, I'm shocked they're both there. I presume you're taking one of them. And yeah, Matt in the comments, 14P, bringing the heat. Absolutely, Matt. You know what we're doing here. Renfro over Cooks. Interesting.
And Adam Thielen is still there, which,
dude, no,
I shouldn't have asked you. Sorry.
I hate Adam Thielen. But he's good, but I hate him.
He's rated in the top 70 players, and whether Sleeper is correct on that or not is up for debate. But you have a guy. I mean, he's a top 100 player,
right?
The value is there. He has at least 2 more years left in him of being a top 25 guy. He's kind of like a Zeke, in my opinion, in the sense where it is so gross, and he's still going to find a way to finish in the top 25. And when it happens, you're going to be like, shit, why did I not think of this? I knew this was going to happen. And then he's going to do it again the next year. So
it's me every season.
If I had an older team, I might have thought about Adam Thielen there. And it is a little mind-blowing that he's probably not going to get drafted.
Yeah, the fact that, he should go over Gabe Davis. He should go over Kenny Galladay, 100% shark. What?
Julio,
yeah. He belongs over every single one of those guys. I don't even think that's a question. All right, last pick here, for me at least. There are not a lot of names I like. But you know what? I am going to take a pick that I believe in, and I'll take Brandon Cooks here again as just another older wide receiver that, very similar to Adam Thielen, is just undervalued. Brandon Cooks, it's irrelevant of who his quarterback is. He's going to produce. I think we officially learned that. I was skeptical coming into this year because Tyrod has never supported a good wide receiver in his life, and now he did it with him and Davis Mills. So I'm in on Cooks still. As a guy you can buy kind of cheap in Dynasty if you're in a win-now team, I think Brandon Cooks is like a perfect target.
Definitely. And to speak to the Renfro versus Brandon Cooks thing, you and I talked about this, and I'll communicate it out there, but Hunter Renfro has a pretty high floor and a pretty low ceiling. He's going to be a 10 to 15 guy kind of guy. He's going to be a Julian Edelman for probably a long time.
Yeah.
And just kind of looking at the makeup of my team, you've got some guys like Jamar Chase who's going to put up 51 or 6. Same thing with Kelsey. So just having that guy on the team who's going to get you 12 to 14 points a week, it just kind of made a little more sense than going with the Brandon Cooks, who is a little older. He's going to have some really good games, some not so good games.
Yeah, very similar.
Yeah,
I hear you. All right, guys. Well, that does it for us here at 14P. As always, continue to check out the Patreon page. Subscribe to the YouTube channel if you're new to this. Follow us on Twitter. You got the handle up top. We'll drop, video links, all that kind of stuff as well. Hovis, thank you for joining me again, man. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Justin.
All right, as always, guys, thanks for watching, and we will see you next time.